you ready for a little Southern humor mixed with relevant topics we can all relate to? We're about to pull back the curtains and mix it up. Scoot your chair up. It's time to talk about all the things and ask all the questions. Welcome to Get It Together, y'all.
Hi, everybody. We're so glad that you joined us today. We're really excited about our show, and we just want you to get comfortable wherever you are. Pull up a chair and just, grab your couch, and we'll be sitting here just having a good conversation today. And I am your host, Cindy Larson, and this is Get It Together, y'all. My co-host,
April Potter.
Yes. We are, tell them who we got. I'm excited today.
We have our first husband and wife team here today with us, Mike and Kelly Brees.
Hi.
Fantastic.
We're glad to be here.
This is fun.
Thanks for
This is
having
so
us.
much fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are going to have a show with all the different shows that we have. We kind of have umbrella categories, and this one is a road dog show. And so these people are really going to be fascinating for you. They are in the entertainment industry, and we're excited to have them, just honored. We invited them to our podcast, and then my husband, who is behind the scenes, he said, do we meet? Are they gonna laugh at our setup? And so anyway,
This is amazing.
This is
I
great.
love it.
This is awesome.
I just want to come hang out here.
oh,
Just
come hang out.
Yeah.
We have too much fun
every night.
It's got a great
Have
vibe.
movie night. Yeah.
Yes.
This is fun.
We have a very eclectic. We're eclectic people.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so.
we
like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But we are all connected in music and entertainment.
Yeah.
So we have that commonality.
Welcome to Nashville.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're Southerners. Are y'all Southerners?
Absolutely.
We are.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh!
We're one
So,
of the three natives left
Right.
in
Right.
Nashville. Yep.
Yes.
one of our topics is Southern Mother. So
Amen.
while we're at it, tell us a Southern Mother story. Do you have one about your? Where were your mothers
wow.
from? Like, let's start there.
Okay, I got a good one. So my mother is the third native, and no, she was born and raised East Nashville.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So when about 15, 20 years ago, I took her to New England with some friends of ours, and that was her first time to be up in that area, and she just loved it. And I tell you what, she would go to everybody's house, and I think word spread through the area. And we got to a friend's house to have dinner one night, and they just said, "Will you come up to the front of the room?" And she said, "What?" And they took her up there, and they said, "Just talk." And she said, "Well, what do you want me to say?"
Yes.
And they just wanted to hear her voice, just hear her Southern accent. So
Yes.
that's my Southern mama.
I have a question. I've never thought of it till right now, but I know different people have, our cars talk to us and our GPS. So many of my friends have a British accent. You have a British
Yes.
accent?
Chloe set it up on my phone.
Is there
Yes.
such a thing as a Southern?
No, and I think there should be.
There
Yeah.
should
Because
be.
Siri does not understand me at
Come on,
all.
Siri. we need to how can we
I don't know.
suggest
You should
that? Because a lot of people
patent
do
that.
Yes.
enjoy a good Southern drawl.
That's right.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'm originally a Texan myself, but
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in Nashville since I was like 7 years old, something like that. So my kids were born and raised here, and I feel like I was too, even though my family traveled. So we were only. This is my parents' original house that we've got this studio set up in the bottom of, and they bought this house for $27,000.
Get out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
cool house.
It's a really
It's
cool
a
house,
cool
like
house.
back in the day. But my
Yeah.
dad is a builder, so he eventually, doubled the original footprint of the house. But anyway, we have lived here for a long time. We were only home the last week of every month because my family was always on the road. So we chose Nashville because you can drive almost anywhere in the U.S. within 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you can cover
It's a
so
big
much
circle.
ground.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
But-
a great place.
Southern,
It's a good home base.
Southern
Yes, it
draw
is.
a good, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a. I've never thought of that till right now. When you
Yes.
said, I want to hear you talking. You've talked about
Yes, it's like my promoters, like my buyers for my concerts, especially my Canadian buyers are always like, "Can you just talk?" And I'm like, "Are you going to buy a show? Because if you're going to buy a show, I can say whatever."
I'll say whatever.
That's great.
This reminds me, we were in Vegas one time and we were talking to some people from London. Do you remember this?
I do.
And he laughed at me and he said, whenever you get around people that are from another country or from the north or whatever, he said, you drop your southern accent. I said, I know, because I just think you should, you know?
Yeah, you feel like they're making fun of you.
yeah, I
'Cause-
just want to feel
'cause
more intelligent.
25 years ago, they kind of were.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, anyway, so this lady, we start talking to her, and she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "We're from Nashville." Her jaw dropped. Oh my gosh! Every weekend, my family would sit and we'd watch the Opry. I'm so
She
in
loved
love
it.
with Nashville, and I said, "You are."
You are.
I can be myself. I can be myself now.
Right. She turned it on.
Oh yeah, we can make one syllable words too all day long.
Yes.
So anyway, where are you from?
I'm from the sticks. I grew up like an hour away from here in Hickman County.
Oh,
Okay.
So that's where my whole family was.
so
Wow.
Hickman County, which direction?
West.
West.
Yeah,
Okay.
I-40 West.
All right.
So, country boy.
Yeah.
And I moved out when I graduated, and I haven't, you know.
Were you an athlete? I mean, like in small schools,
No.
everybody did sports. So how'd you get away from that?
I just, I found what I was passionate about, and
Yeah.
that was not sports,
Yeah.
but that was camera work. So,
Okay.
And cars.
and cars.
And
Okay. Well, sure.
But yeah, I found out at an early age just at church.
Yeah.
You know, I started operating the soundboard at church, and
Yeah.
they got cameras, and I started operating the cameras. And I was like, wow, this would be cool if I could get paid for it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So that's how it all started for me.
Well, you were blessed to have that outlet.
Indeed.
To pick up on early. That's fantastic.
It was a small town, but it was a big church. It was like an
Okay.
800-member church in a small town.
Sweet.
And you know, they were ahead of their time. They were getting the equipment and the media before
Yeah.
a lot of churches were doing that. So
That's
Wow.
I
awesome.
was fortunate. Yeah.
And you were part of their sweet spot because you probably were a quick study and you learned what you needed to and came prepared.
When you're passionate about something,
Yeah.
you'll stay the
You're gonna
extra
be ready.
hours
Oh,
to
yeah.
learn it. you know?
Yeah.
So that's the,
That's awesome.
That's
ticket.
great. How did you two meet?
Well, that's so yeah, that was part of our story. So we've had this joke forever. It'll be 25 years in October that we've been married.
We made it.
But there's
Yeah.
one thing that your mother always tells you, especially Southern mamas.
Okay.
They
Southern
say,
mother.
don't marry somebody that you work with or that you meet in a bar. So there we were working at a bar.
Ah, that's awesome.
No,
you broke
my-
both rules.
There you go.
Yeah.
So right out of college,
Yeah.
actually, I got a job as an associate producer on the Wild Horse Saloon Dance Show in Nashville.
Okay.
We opened the bar. I know it's closed now.
Yes.
Not that
Aw.
that makes me old or anything, but he was running camera on that.
Yeah.
And we did that show for 3 years. And I think I've always said those were the 3 years I was single, you know, just kind of like, where's my life going? Where am I going to be? And all these things. And I would sit and just ponder on these things while I was watching the show and working on it and everything, not knowing that my husband was sitting
Oh
Right
my
there.
goodness.
4 feet away and I never knew it.
That
True
is
story.
incredible.
Yeah.
We started dating right as they canceled that show. Basically, right as that show went away, we started dating. So,
Wow.
so yeah, it was kind
Very
of
cool.
It worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to work.
right.
We
25 years later.
we love these stories. I have my husband and I met when we were 9 and 11, and our families were friends all these years. And I dated so many guys. I love me some men, but he was my friend. Like I talked to him about everything, and then all of a sudden it's like one day I was like, wait, who are you now? And we worked together. We traveled with my family on the band. And So that was really awkward, and we had this big long talk. I don't know why I'm going into all this, but we had this big long talk, and we said, we can't date because we work together, and we've been friends, and our families are friends. And I said, yeah, and I don't have a good track record because I don't know how to do dating. Like, evidently, I had engaged 4 times.
Oh,
At that
wow.
point, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And so he said, yeah, we just had this talk because we both were feeling like we were, we needed to have the talk. And I said, yeah, we can't do it. So you understand? And he said, yeah, I understand. And then he said, are you done? I said, yeah. And he said, can I kiss you? And I said, okay. Sure. And it was over. It was done. Forget it.
I understand that. Yeah, you
so-
got to marry your best friend.
You do.
You have to.
Because you're
It's
going to
the
hate
only
them
way it works.
sometimes. And
Yes,
if
you are.
if you marry them for
Good point.
their looks, man. Sometimes I say, go ahead, look, she's pretty. I don't mind you looking. She doesn't have anything I can't fix.
There you go. There you go. I like it.
That's
I
good.
like it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
But
we love Southern Mother. We have we try to like educate people who didn't have Southern mothers. But
Yes.
do you have any tips today? I mean,
Not today.
my grandmother and my mother knew all these. All of them were Southern. So I can't get away from that. You just
just
feel like,
part of
what
you.
would my mother do? And there's just a level of class. There's a level of hospitality that the Southern mothers instill in us. So, it's to hold the knees together. Like right now, I don't know, you can't tell in this shot, but my knees are together because my Southern mother would say, I can, but
Yep.
anyway, I'm like, I'm not in church and I'm not on the platform, so I can, relax a little bit. But Southern mothers are great. Well,
Yes, they are.
thank you for being here. So tell us what you do, and then we're going to get into our fun facts.
Wow. Let's see. Again, we met in the business.
Yeah.
So right as we met, I went to college for broadcast production and went right to the Nashville Network. Some people
Yeah.
still remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of the mecca of
Huge.
country music at the time.
Yeah.
And he happened to be working there. And so that's what we did. I started freelancing, and then we start to talk, and he's about to start a camera crane company.
Wow.
He's been a cameraman for 13 years, and he
Okay.
says, I'm about to go out on
Like
my
the
own.
jibs and all that kind of
That's it.
stuff.
So my side of it is that, I was freelancing, and he said, hey, start your own company. And I said, no, you're crazy. He said, no, it'll be great. Just buy your gear and we'll go do this, and it'll be great. And 25 years later, we're
Wow.
still
Here you
doing
are.
it.
Yeah.
So I started a teleprompting company. And it took off way faster than I thought it was going to. I was
Right.
planning on just being, just kind of chilling and dipping my toes into it.
Yeah.
And the next thing we knew, we were doing big shows, and
Wow.
Right.
and it's been good. It's been a real blessing. And I'll tell them what you do, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
sir.
This is my 40th year in
Yeah.
entertainment in the camera business. So
Wow.
I've been doing it a long time. Right out of high school, I graduated at 17. Then I went to a 1-year trade school at Nashville Tech
Yeah.
in West Nashville. While I was going to Nashville Tech, I was an intern at Channel 4. So I did the 6 and 10 news
Yeah.
with Dan Miller and Bill Hall and those
Back
guys.
Yes.
now, okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
Back in those days, guys stood at the cameras.
Yes.
Do they do that now, or
I
is it
don't-
all automated?
I think just about all of them are RoboCams.
I, sometimes they'll pull back and you get to see the whole room. And we were talking the other night, said, I don't think that there's cameramen like that anymore.
That was funny that you say that because they used to take a wide shot at the end of the newscast.
Yeah.
And you could see, like you're saying,
Yeah.
all the cameras and the camera guys.
Yeah.
And I would, to say hi to my mom, I would always reach up and grab my ear. So that was
Carol
my,
Burnett.
That was your
that was my
little.
little thing, you know.
I
Tell
love
them
it.
about that one time when you
Yeah, that one
You know,
time.
that
What
one
is
time.
it?
Oh, my
What is it? we
all I had
can't
to
wait
do.
to hear.
You know, I was an intern, and I was shooting the news as an intern. You could back then. And we were going into a bump shot, and I had this bump shot worked out. And, they're counting down 5, 4, 3. And by the time I hit 3, I was rolling the camera. The desk and the set that Dan Miller sat on,
Yeah.
the steps, it was up real high, and the steps came out real far.
Okay.
And I was really not aware of that. And I was rolling the camera, I was looking up at my viewfinder, and all of a sudden, about 3, 2, I hit the set.
Oh no!
And the picture is shaky. And about that time, Dan Miller is going through his script, and he goes,
You
I
thought
felt
you
terrible.
thought it
I thought
ended.
they were going to walk me out
You
the
are
door.
done.
So that was the last year that interns were ever.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
news.
I guess that was the
Wow.
reason. But
I love
Shut
Dan
that
Miller.
right down.
Dan Miller was like, I thought you were going to knock me out of my chair.
He had a few words.
I felt about that big.
Yeah.
That's
That was
funny.
horrible. I thought my career was over.
Yeah, your life
Before
your
it got
life
started.
flashed.
Yeah. So I worked there for a couple of years, and then I went to TNN like everybody else, the
Yeah.
Nashville Network. What a
That was the
great
goal in those
place
days,
Yeah.
was to make it to TNN.
Yeah.
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 And I was on staff there for 13 years and learned everything. It was all hands-on, and I did motorsports and music shows and
Yeah.
stuff. And then I was like, one of these days I'm going to quit my job and own my own stuff
Yeah.
and see if I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
And I got me a plan, and I bought my first jib, and I said I'm going to work my job until I pay a jib off, so I don't
Yeah.
have the note every month,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to quit.
Wow.
And then I paid it
Ladies
off.
and gentlemen, pay your jib off.
I paid it
People are
off.
going,
Yes.
jib. What is a jib?
Google that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a camera on a stick.
Yeah.
It was scary because I got to the point where I paid it off, and I'm like, wow, now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And you lingered
You got
for a
the
little
guts.
while where it was secure.
Do you mind me asking if you're a man of faith?
Absolutely.
So that played into it.
A lot.
Yeah.
Our whole family is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
had kids, and are they in?
So
no?
this was when we first married. This
Right.
was like in '98 is
Eight.
when you started.
Correct.
But yeah, fast forward. Yes, we have 2 amazing kids.
Are they
Yes.
in the business too?
Yes.
Oh my
It's
gosh!
crazy.
It kind of works that way.
It is crazy. So we have a 21-year-old son who is a singer-songwriter in Nashville. I mean, imagine.
Okay.
And a daughter who just became a makeup artist for film and
love
television.
that.
So yeah,
That's what
kind
I
of
did
different
when I
avenues, but
when I went
Yeah.
off the
Still
road. I
entertaining.
didn't know how to do anything, and I'm like, nobody's gonna want to pay me to do. I got a job at Casternauts.
Yes.
Awesome.
Makeup.
I worked at Ormond right outside of Castronaut. We were probably there
yes,
at the same time.
Yes, we probably
Yes.
were. We'll have to compare notes.
That's right.
Man, that was a shock to my system because I had never worked a job that I had to clock in, and I always we were in a family dynamic. Oh, and I lived in this bubble of we only went where we were invited to go, and so I didn't have people bully me, or I didn't know about the real world. And we came off the road about the time that Jimmy Swaggart and PTL, all that was in the news every day. And
Oh, yes.
I got a job with 40 women and 1 man. And the first day, everybody finds out that, I know these people, and they're like, oh, well, then you're going to answer all our questions. And so every day I would just have to psych myself out because I just didn't know how to be a real person. It just took me a while, but that was a kind of a scary, and I remember it was so good for me. Like, wow, what was so good for me. There was a girl that I met the very first day, and she would follow me into the stockroom. She worked at one of the other counters, and she just had questions about the Bible, and she'd been raised Catholic, and I'm like, they don't teach you any of this. And so we just had great conversations. It really challenged me to defend my faith and to understand my faith. And I'd never had to do that before.
Right.
It was
Oh,
understood.
yeah.
You
Because
know,
you were surrounded.
yeah,
with those-
everybody that
yeah.
was the same, and so
Yeah.
I wasn't challenged in any way, and so this was a good thing for me, and it grew me a lot. And I'm still
yeah.
friends with. I led her to the Lord, and
Yeah.
we're still
Wow.
friends. She's a pastor's wife today, and so
That's amazing.
that was
story.
really
That's the way it
cool. She had
works.
just gotten married to her. This was my friends. This is Lisa Voorhees and Barry Voorhees. She had just married Barry, and he had been out of the church because he got hurt, and he had been in music in some church, and so he just felt like if I don't have to bring it up with this girl because she's, but she had all these questions and he just wouldn't answer them. So she asked me. And so she started following me to church. And he's like, wait, what kind of cult are you going to? And all this. Anyway, fast forward, he was pretty close behind her. And he said, no, he said, I'm going to lead this house. And anyway, now they pastor.
That's amazing.
Really great church.
That's amazing.
Where are they? Huh? Jolton.
Yeah.
In the Jolton area.
Good for
So
you.
anyway,
Congrats.
so anyway, that was just a different life ago, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I met April when she was like a teenager. So we go way back. Hey, one of the things that we do in this show is we like to have fun facts. So, some of our guests bring some things, and so we're gonna do a little fun facts segment here. And I'm anxious because I have never had a guest bring notes like you guys are prepared. I'm surprised you, teleprompter woman,
Right?
didn't have you a teleprompter.
That's good.
That's my world. Be prepared. You have to tell that story too.
Yes.
Anyway,
Y'all want to go?
let's see. My first fun fact. This is my favorite one that I found.
Okay.
The technical term for a fear of long words is hippopotamonstrosaquipedaliophobia.
No way. There
Wow.
actually is a word.
That's a word.
for,
A fear of long words.
and it has to
There you
be
go.
a long word. It couldn't just be like jib.
Right. No, Jeb.
No, gee.
No.
I've
No
got one.
Yeti. No Yeti or
No.
something.
Did you know this? That
Okay.
Fruit Loops are all the same flavor.
No.
Just
Yeah. That's kind of a.
Are you kidding me right now?
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, that reminds me. I gotta get over here and find one that is a tag off of that a little bit. Hang on. Did you know that? Man, I got so many, April. I was on a roll today. Hang on. Okay.
While you
Is
look
it?
for it, I'll tell mine.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
In the moment. In the moment.
Okay, jelly beans. It takes 7 to 21 days to make jelly beans. Can you believe that?
And then
Wow.
how long did they sit on the shelf?
Yes.
Yeah. They last
Yeah,
forever.
forever. They're
Yeah.
42 years old by the time you eat them.
Yes. Exactly.
And the other kind of candy one is that in Japan, Kit Kats have 200 flavors. They make Kit Kats like jelly beans have all these flavors. They do it with Kit Kats. They even have one that's a baked potato.
We got gypped.
Isn't that
How come we
gross?
only have one?
Baked
But it-
potato cake.
Well, I have one that goes with that.
Yeah?
Did you know you can buy eel flavored ice cream? Eel flavored
No.
ice cream in Japan
Oh,
to go
see,
with your Kit Kat.
it's the whole thing. Like they're just out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You have one?
I'm in Japan too.
What?
Oh, wow.
It's a theme.
Isn't that weird? The oldest hotel in the world has been operated by a Japanese family for over 1,300 years.
What?
52 different generations has took care of
Wow.
people and operated it.
Oh my god!
I was like,
pretty
wow.
I kind of want to go.
I know.
Where?
Japan.
I know, but where?
I don't know.
Japan
We'll have to
is
look
big.
it up.
This one is crazy. Did you know that wasps only attack when they're drunk?
Drunk.
Who knew?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes. So they like get all this, nectar, and then they get like buzzed. Seriously,
Nice.
they get buzzed,
Wow.
and then they get all this confidence that they need to attack something bigger than themselves. I'm like, welcome to Broadway.
Wow. So it's liquid confidence.
Yes,
like
yes.
it. I
That's
like
so
it.
Gets a
funny
lot
to
of people in
me.
trouble.
It does.
So next time you're being dive bombed by you're just gonna go.
Just
"I'm
offer him a drink.
It's like,
He'll
come
go
on,
away."
man, come on.
Let's see. Did you know that Barbie is Barbie, as in the famous Barbie? She had a name, and her name was Barbara Millicent Roberts. And now we
Really?
know why she goes by Barbie.
Yeah.
Barbara, say it again.
Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Millicent. Yeah, I wonder if that's like a maiden name. No, she wasn't married, so that had to have been a
So there actually
middle
was
name?
a
A
Barbie.
middle name.
There
Oh,
was an actual
real
Barbie.
Oh my gosh, I would not qualify. like Melissa McCarthy Barbie.
I was gonna say, I wonder what the real measurements were.
Did you also know that you can't tickle yourself?
You cannot like your
what they
if
say.
your feet or anything.
And everybody just tried it.
Yeah, exactly.
We learned on another show. One of our guests says you can't hum and hold your nose.
I tried that. I think you can do it. Try it.
I don't
good.
know. I bet you can't. We decided that
We tried
can't.
it. We all tried it.
Could you do it?
No. Okay, listen to
Huh.
this. If you live in Brooklyn, you can rent a mom. Yes, a lady by the name of Nina Kinley is 63, and she started her own business, and it's called Need a Mom. And she's not a therapist, but she just listens, and she'll just give you non-judgmental listening, and she will sit and watch a movie with you. She brings cookies when she comes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I wonder if
Yes.
she's a Southern mom.
I was
even
just
though
gonna
she,
ask. Beat me to it.
I know.
She has to be. If
I mean,
she
you
brings
would think
cookies,
so if she's thinking of those things.
she lives in Brooklyn, not by choice. Somebody
She didn't mean to.
Maybe
No,
that's who
It
needs
was
the
an
moms.
accident. You're right.
It's like there are a lot of people that need moms.
Yeah, she's a support mom.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
You know,
That's
So-
pretty cool. I like that.
Whatever you're good at, now I feel like there's more meat behind that. Like, what are you good at? Being a mom and listening. But the other part of that is she will give you non-judgmental listening. Like, what Southern mother
Yeah.
really does
She's
that?
not a
She will
Southern
have
mother,
an
no.
opinion.
sounds
No.
more like
She
a
will.
therapist.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She has learned to button it up. Oh man, that's all I got.
That's
You got
good.
something else?
Oh well, did you know none of the Beatles could actually read music?
What? Well, now that doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh, my shirt's Eagles.
Oh.
Beatles.
close.
So yeah, I mean, like, think about it. A lot of bands. I mean, they're doing good to read a chord chart, right?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Especially
Nashville
in
number
Nash
system.
Vegas. That's right. That's right. The average American will eat 35,000 cookies in their lifetime
What?
when they're not eating Kit Kats and eel flavored ice cream.
35,000 cookies. I feel behind.
Yeah, we need to
I
catch
kinda
up.
I don't want one
feel
right
like-
now.
yeah.
I know. All this food's making me hungry.
Did you notice our theme? Yeah.
Yeah.
All of our facts.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. That's
Time
all.
for
That's all our
dinner.
show. No, I'm kidding.
We'll see
Go
ya.
eat. Yeah.
We need to go eat.
We'll meet you at the Cracker Barrel.
Oh yeah, shoot! Isn't that a fun store? But I
Yeah.
think they've kind of gone down. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they started selling alcohol and stuff. I think that
It's
they
not
just
the same.
no. I don't know. They lost a.
I mean, they're no Shoney's, but just kidding. Just kidding.
Just talk about Shoney's. Like what? Bob's
Yeah.
Big Boy,
Yes.
guy out there, and the chocolate layered cake with the
Oh,
ice
yeah.
cream.
Oh, that was the thing.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Well,
Hot
that's
fudge
even
cake.
where it
Oh,
all. It's where all the.
yeah.
It's where everybody met. The
Oh,
one
yeah.
over by
The
Opryland,
cruise.
the
Yeah.
one downtown. That's where they met to catch the bus,
Mm-hmm.
the tour bus.
well, and they
Shoney's
had the
parking lot.
buffet.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You
and
know,
it
with
was
the
good.
strawberries with with that gummy
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
You know,
That was the Friday night. That was the excitement when
Yeah.
I was a kid. My grandparents would take us, and we'd have a huge hamburger and
yeah.
all that good stuff.
That's it. Hot fudge cake.
We're
on your
still
birthday.
talking about food.
Hot fudge cake.
Yeah,
That's what
still
it was.
talking about
That's
food.
it.
Fudge cake.
Yeah.
And we used to go to that in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, downtown Gatlinburg.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really good one. But is there one around anymore?
I think
I
They're
think they
gone.
shut down during COVID
Yeah.
because they were still open just
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is happening in your world? Like, so I just want to pick your brain, but part of what I love about this show is we kind of help people who are drawn to or would like to, where would you send somebody, a newbie that would really like to get into your business? What would you say?
Wow.
Is it a networking situation?
It's
or-
totally a networking situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just talking about that. And it's interesting because, having two up and comers in the family,
Yeah.
that's all we talk about.
Yeah.
Is it's who you meet, where you are you in the right place at the right time? And
Yeah.
And when somebody gives you an opportunity, whether you want to go or not, you go because you never know. You know, we've talked about this a lot, about how God always has a hand in it. I personally believe that you have a desire in your heart. He puts it there.
Yeah.
It's just there whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And then he will construct a path for you. And I think the most interesting part about that is that that path never, ever, ever looks the way you thought it was
Never.
going to look.
Say that
It's
again.
so cool. It's
Yeah.
just so cool to look back and go, had I not helped that lady at the grocery store or whatever, I wouldn't have met her. And then she introduced me to her, you know, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about that so much. So my favorite line in thinking about how to get in the business and be successful is, you must be present to win. Show up. Just be there. Just be there when it's happening, whether you're getting paid for it or not. Just show up, and if you love it, be there. You know,
Yes.
and that's what we tell our kids all the time. Just and it's been interesting to watch them come home and go, "Oh my gosh, Mom, you're not gonna believe who I met." You know,
Yeah.
we were sitting at home the other night, and a friend of mine called up, and she said, "Is your son home tonight?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, my friend is up in Gallatin. They're recording this new country artist. Is he busy?" And I said, "Not anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I walked up to his little recording studio, and I said, "Get your clothes on, get dressed, get up there." And go. And he, at 1:30 in the morning, he walks in, and he said, "Mom, that was the best night ever.
Wow.
I met so many people and got to share my music with so many people. And just it's that kind of thing over and over and over. But yeah, just show up, just be there." And
One of my favorite stories with this in mind was, I can't remember the year. Y'all may know because of being in the business, but Whitney Houston had just had her big, her big movie and all that, and she was supposed to be on the Grammys singing "I Will Always Love You," right? And she was just having a day during sound check, and the producer had it and just said, basically stop. I mean, he basically kicked her off, and she was going to be like the headline, because she was the biggest thing ever. And Whitney just was not. She was not sober. She was just not going to be able to handle this, and everything was falling apart in front of this producer's face. And so he didn't know what to do. He called a friend and said, give me a name. And he said, "I know there's this new girl. Her name is Faith Hill.
yep.
And she should be ready." And they put her on a private plane, flew her to LA, and she did her debut,
Yes.
Breathe, and she was ready. And
She killed it.
She killed it.
Yes.
So
I was there.
you were there?
Yes.
Were you working?
Oh, it was an incredible
I
night.
shot the show.
Oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
No,
Oh,
that's just
it
how
was
it happened.
incredible.
Tell us about
Yes.
it.
I mean,
Yes.
it was an incredible moment. I mean, and I have another Grammy story for you. We
Okay.
were in New York. We did the Grammys in New York twice. Once at Radio City Music Hall. I shot Grammys for like 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
So we did it one time at Radio City Music Hall. We did another time at Madison Square Gardens. But we were at Radio City, and we're right in the middle of the show.
I did not know this.
And
Like,
Yeah.
sweet.
And I'm on headset, of course. My jib, my camera is
Yeah.
on stage, and we're in commercial break, and I hear the stage manager say, "We have a problem. Pavarotti's in his dressing room, and he's sick, and he's not coming out." And it was like a 5-minute commercial break. And so the director is going crazy. The producer's going crazy. What are we going to do? What are we going to put in 5 minutes? We don't have enough commercials to just keep putting commercials in.
Yeah.
And the producer, Ken Ehrlich, genius of a man, had been to a fundraising event 2 weeks prior and had heard Aretha Franklin sing the song that Pavarotti was singing on the show.
Oh my gosh.
He knew that she was there at the Grammys. He went out in the audience. He got her out of the audience, brought her up on stage without any rehearsal.
Still had a coat on.
Oh,
She
it was
took her
amazing.
big fur coat off
Yeah.
and got up there and they count down from the commercial break, and
So given her range, she would have sung it in the same key.
she did.
I knew
And
it.
just
Wow.
killed
Oh
it.
my
You have to look
gosh.
it up on YouTube.
Goosebumps.
Oh
Wow.
my
Yes.
gosh! And she had a coat on because she won't be in a room that's not 76 or 8. Like she freezes.
She's Aretha. She
oh,
can do
she's
that.
Aretha.
Right.
Yeah.
The
She
queen.
can do it.
Oh
The
my
queen.
gosh! Killed it.
But man, I mean, it was so
What in the
tense.
world?
The headset was just silent. Like, what are we going to do?
yeah.
We got to feel this,
And
3.5, 4 minutes.
He looked out there and he knew she was
He
singing.
went and got her out
No
of the audience and
rehearsal,
said,
no
"Will you do me a
sound check,
favor?
no
Will you bail
nothing."
me out? Will you sing this
Oh
song?"
my God.
And she just killed it.
Yeah, look
Oh,
it up
wow.
on YouTube. It's the best video ever.
Oh
It's so
my gosh,
cool.
we're
Just
gonna
give you
post it
goosebumps.
on
Yeah.
our website. We will
Yeah.
link
Post a
that.
link.
Good.
What in the
A good moment.
world?
But the Faith Hill thing, man, she came in there and just crushed it.
Wow.
We've done one of our favorite shows that we do is CMT Crossroads. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yeah.
that, but they take a pop rock star and they pair them up with a country star. So we were in was Texas with Faith Hill and Chrissy Hines of the Pretenders.
Okay.
And we did it live, which is unusual. We didn't
Yeah.
usually do this show live, but it was around a Super Bowl or something. I think we were in Texas doing that. And we got there. And I don't think anybody told Chrissy Hines that she was going to have to sing someone else's song. She thought she was singing her own.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so she got there and she was kind of like, it's country music. How hard can it be? It's 3 chords, whatever.
Yeah.
We got out there. Faith Hill she was Faith Hill.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
just nailed it. And she knew
Smooth.
every word of every Pretender's
Yes.
song and just,
Yeah.
and Chrissy was like, and
Yeah.
I remember right before we gone, she asked the director, she said, don't you have like a bouncing ball or something that we could put on the prompter so that I can see the words so that I can, and the director was like, no, we don't have that.
It's not karaoke.
And I was, of course, doing teleprompter on it. So the director walked over to me and he said, we're about to go live. She doesn't know the music. This show is on you.
Oh,
And
wow.
he
My
said,
No
gosh.
pressure.
don't mess up.
So
And he
you
just
had
kinda
to
went,
feed her the
Yes,
right
and
word
we
in
just
the right
prayed.
segment.
Come on, Chrissy. Come on.
You got
You have
this.
to be a little ahead, but not
Yes.
too much. To
Yes.
Oh,
But it was
man.
so cool. It was just like Nashville represented
Yes.
tonight because Faith just came and just murdered it. She
Yeah.
was so good. So, yeah.
Good.
But yeah, that was a
man.
fun show. That's one of my favorite shows that we do.
Yeah.
We've gotten to do some fun artists.
Some of those tense moments.
Oh, yeah.
Live TV. I love live TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TV is-
Yeah.
I'm sure you have story after story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, a few things stick out to me. I've been doing it 40 years, but there's a few things that stick out to me. We did a DVD for Billy Joel, and he was playing the last show at Shea Stadium. They were tearing the old stadium down and building a new stadium in the parking lot.
Okay.
So they booked this show. It was called Last Play at Shea. It sold out in 8 minutes.
Wow.
So they're like, wow, that's what we're going to do now. So they booked a second show. So now the DVD is called Double Play at Shea.
Okay.
So we're shooting it. It's full house, 80,000 people, and they are the stage manager is coming on the headset and saying, are we ready to wrap up? And Billy Joel, he would finish his last song and he would look up at the stage manager and he was like, you know what? He's like, no, keep going. So the director was saying there's a special guest trying to get here. They're trying to get him here. Tell Billy Joel, keep going, keep playing. So
the tension.
it
Yeah.
was like,
building.
okay. So,
Who is it?
So he keeps playing, and then after every song, he would look up at the stage manager. Oh, he said, no, keep going. And everybody was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It was getting weird. And finally, I look over to my left.
Where were you in all of this?
I was on stage
Okay.
with my jib,
Yeah.
my camera, and I finally got it. So they finally said, he just pulled up. And I look over 6 feet away, right by the stairs,
Yeah.
and there's Paul McCartney. And then Billy says, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce this. He said, the guys that opened this stadium in 1965, I thought it was fitting if he closed the stadium.
Wow.
The
So,
Beatles opened it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul McCartney.
Oh my God.
And the place went crazy. I mean, it was like the Elvis movies you used to see on TV. I mean, the women down front, they were
freeze.
crying and
Screams,
screaming.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was amazing night.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Another goosebump night.
yeah.
Wow.
My husband, you don't know this, but he's been in the touring industry in the transportation coaches business forever, and he was vice president of Hemphill Brothers Coach Company, and then they sold, and now he works for Beat the Street, which is a European company, and they're launching their brand in the North America. So he's heading that up with them, but in the early years he toured. You know, he was a driver, and people sometimes ask him who is his favorite, person to be around, and he always says Paul McCartney. He said he was
That's
the
always
kindest,
nice to hear.
just very, very, he and Linda both when she was alive. Just one of, a very pleasant, to be such a big
Humble.
deal.
He's humble, isn't
Just
he?
a very
Yeah.
kind person. So that's really neat.
It's always good when when you've liked somebody for so long and then you meet
Yes.
them and like, oh, they're nice too.
Yes.
I like
that's
them
the
even more
best.
now.
You
Yeah.
kind
That's
of
the
get
best.
jaded, and you just don't expect them to be.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
then
Yeah.
you're surprised if they are.
Yeah.
But
It goes the other
yeah.
way too, though. When you meet them
Yeah.
and they're jerks,
Yes.
it's
Like,
hard to listen to them on the radio.
It is
anymore.
hard.
It's like,
Yeah.
you just ruined it all.
I really like
know.
that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watch award shows and different performances with, I have the behind the scenes person over here going, "Bah," like, oh man, not them, but their tour manager is,
Yes.
hard to
Yeah.
deal with or whatever.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the people who accompany the stars feel like they're a star as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
And the
So-
stars are cool. They would come up and just hang with
Yeah.
you. But
Yeah, their
The-
management
their
will
the
let you-
people.
management.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the
They're
management.
handlers,
Yeah.
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 It's funny. We were talking about cool moments, and I would have to say probably one of the funniest, coolest moment. We were doing CMA Fest, and Steven Tyler came on a few years back, and he was duetting with Carrie Underwood, and so we were working with him, and he is one that he gets to know everybody.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And someone told me that, and I was like, okay, I'm never gonna go and introduce myself, but so I'm sitting there working, and all of a sudden he just plops down right beside me, and I mean not just beside me, like, hey,
On you.
what you doing? And he's just, there is no space between, he is Steven Tyler. He does what he wants. So he sits down and we'd start talking and tell me about yourself. You got kids? I said, yes, I got kids. What are their names? And I said, well, I've got a daughter named Sailor. And he said, Sailor? That's my grandson's name. What?
Oh, that's cute.
And so he said, what else? And I said, I have a son named Shane. And he said, wait a minute, what's your last name? And I said, Kelly, it's Brees. And he said, Shane Brees. And he stopped and he went, no more Shane Brees. It's cool.
Oh,
His name is Cool Brees now.
Oh,
And
that
so
is
I
so
go
funny.
home and I tell my son, who's like, 6 at the time, 7. I said, Shane, dude. I said, Steven Tyler just renamed you. And he said, who's Steven Tyler?
right.
And then we stopped and I said, it's the guy on American Idol,
There you
honey.
go. Oh my gosh.
And Aerosmith.
And
And Aerosmith. But yeah, it was so funny. Who's Steven Tyler?
What, can I
Yeah.
tell the story, Mark? No. Okay, I have a Steven Tyler story, but
Yeah.
I'm not at liberty to tell it.
Edit.
Shoot.
Oh,
Oh
well.
yeah, I know. Edit. I'll tell you after the show.
Right on.
Sorry, everybody.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. And you are in the world, and you are shining bright. And I'm just so thankful that I can now call you friends.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, it's just awesome.
fun.
There are people of faith in every walk of life, and sometimes people, they get really tripped up by that. They think if they've got a secular job, that they have, I don't know, there's both sides of that. There's people who are so religiously, heavenly minded, they're no earthly good. And then some people go, well, I just kick it with who I'm around. And so I just think that there is a I'm really proud of people who are so well established in an industry like the entertainment industry, like in Nashville here, that we can say, we're just the same no
Absolutely.
matter what.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we can all get along. It is,
Right.
Yeah.
it's tough to be a believer in any environment,
Right, right.
But in entertainment, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
But
It is.
we can all just get along.
It's
Yeah.
interesting with the community that we work with. It's it's a family, and there are some incredible people just that we would consider family that we've been around for so many years now. But yeah, it's a challenging industry for sure because a lot of outside influence has come in and
Right,
and it's changed drastically over the last several years, and so yeah, it's made us kind of reevaluate and rethink and think about what do we want to do for the second half, where
And
what
can we
direction.
even talk about that? Because I know you guys
Sure,
are
yeah.
doing a little bit different stuff now.
Yeah, so just as we were talking about before, the way God kind of places things in your path, I had just about talked him into kind of joining me in semi-retirement, and that was a beautiful month. That's all it lasted. But we were, as things go, we were going over to pick up a piece of gear from a friend of ours at some new studio that we didn't know anything about, didn't know anyone. And we walk in, and within an hour, I think he was talking about, oh my gosh, what are you guys doing? And this is amazing what you have going on over here. And that was about, a year ago?
Yeah.
And so now that's the new venture, and I'll let you tell about
It's just
that.
a neat space we have, and it's our studio. We have a virtual wall, and we're doing a couple of shows out of there. So it's just new to be in a different role, producing and executive producing and making some decisions I've never had to make before.
Right.
So I respect those guys even more now. But it's just something different.
the technology has
yeah.
come so far so fast where you can do a lot with the
Indeed. Virtual world.
virtual
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. But it's just some good guys, and we're trying to make some good content that
We will have you'll put
Yes,
their
we
information
can put
up.
it- Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
kind
think-
of cool. No, go
No,
ahead.
you go.
A couple of years ago, it was funny. He and I were sitting in we have this little room. We call it our coffee room every morning. And we were talking, and I just looked at him and I said, I've just always felt that you should be some sort of creative director, something like that. And he just looked at me and he laughed and he said, right. Let me just start that right now, okay?
right after 40 years. of
And
doing
I,
what I've been
and
doing.
I said, okay, whatever. And that was the end of that conversation. And a year and a half later, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
You got to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah,
That's
be
right.
real
Because it
careful.
just might happen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, working behind the scenes, because this is new for me. I mean, Cindy's been out front, but I haven't. And I know you guys have always worked behind the scenes. People don't realize what goes on behind the scenes to make a show happen or to make a video happen.
Indeed.
And so let's talk about that a little bit.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mark,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah,
Thanks
he's
to Mark.
making it
We love
happen.
He's
Mark.
making it happen. and
Yes,
So I appreciate those
yes.
guys.
Because we're all people are seeing is the finished product or the Grammys or the this big show, but they
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what in
So
the
much
world
work.
is happening or what's going on in the headsets.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Oh.
last minute where
Yeah.
where something's happened and you just have to go with it.
Yeah,
You
it's so funny. I've been fortunate because I lived here, but I would fly to Hollywood and I would do the Grammys or the Academy Awards, or actually I was out doing the Latin Grammys at the Forum on 9/11, and we went in and for show day, and they came out on the stage and said, "Well, obviously the show is canceled," and it was half New York crew and half LA crew, and so it was a crazy day for everyone. But they were just like, "Everybody go home." Well, they put me up at the Hilton Airport, so I went to my room and look out over the airport, and it's just everything is silent and still. It was so crazy, but I had an awesome stagehand. He put me in his personal pickup truck, put all of my equipment in the back of his pickup truck. We drove around everywhere looking for a rental van. I think I got the last rental van in LA.
Wow.
Packed all my stuff up and started driving. But it was a crazy day, but thank goodness for that. He was like my little angel.
Yeah.
The
I've always
stagehand.
said the Alan Jackson song that I love so much, the When the World Stopped Turning. There's a line in there that says, "Were you on a stage in L.A.?"
Yeah.
That's
And
where
I
it
said,
was.
"Oh, he was."
It was in the
Sure enough.
station.
It's exactly where he was. But yeah, you talk about what goes into a show. I mean, so say you take the CMA Awards in Nashville. We're there 5 days. It
Yeah.
takes 5 days to
Get ready.
to get in, to get set up.
Yep.
You spend
Rehearsing 10 to 12
Yeah.
hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right up to the show.
yeah, and like for my end, I mean the script. We get a script that's 200 pages, and about 85% of that changes throughout 5 days. And
For
so
sure.
it's a constant update.
And on the fly.
Yes,
And-
on the fly, the 5 minutes before the show, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of prep work and a lot of people going into it. How many people would you say is on a crew of?
Probably 200
Yeah,
between the
on the
stage hands and the
CMA.
stage crew. A lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, and it's such a circuit.
Yeah.
It's the same people that do the Grammys and the Academy Awards, and they come back and do the CMAs, and
Yeah.
that's always been kind of interesting. Just sitting and watching television, we're constantly looking, okay, who's
Yeah.
on that?
It doesn't
who's
matter
doing it?
if it's East Coast or West
Yeah.
Coast. It's still the same group of people
Yes.
that just
Yeah.
travel around and do all these big shows. So
Yeah.
it's a real tight click.
Yeah.
And
What
getting
was it-
in is not easy.
The beauty pageant where they sent out the wrong name.
Oh, yeah.
What was
Oh,
it?
yeah.
The Miss USA or Miss?
Yeah.
It was a
something like-
Miss
yeah.
America.
Miss America.
They had the wrong. Well,
The wrong person.
They
Yeah.
they handed
Yeah.
them the wrong card. That was a friend of ours that we work with all the time. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's
Yes.
scary. He's a famous stage manager and he's all over the world doing all these
Yeah.
shows, and it's just
But
it's
everybody
crazy.
can make a mistake.
Oh yeah, it's just there's so many moving parts that it's amazing those things don't happen way more than they do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's crazy. But
Some
yeah,
good
it's fun.
times.
It's fun. It's we were talking about just crazy moments. I said the first CMA that I did, we had rehearsed, the show's about to start, and I walk out in the hallway and it's just this sea of black. I know you've experienced this, right, with the artists. It's just such excitement and tension and it's just over the top, and it just hits you like there's about to be 1 million people watching this
I'm
live
doing.
show, and if I mess up,
Tell me.
everybody's gonna see it,
Yeah.
So it's those feelings, but it's amazing the day after. I'll tell you that's the best day of the year when those
Yes.
shows come and they go, and we made it through, and yeah, we get to sit back the next day and watch them back and
Yep.
know that
cool.
we survived.
You survived and you made it happen.
Yes.
And without your, and isn't it cool, and back on faith again, but that God puts you in the right place at the right time. You got picked up to be in a crew. You clicked with them.
Yeah.
And a lot of, especially in this town, but I have the most experience in this town, but people work with people they like to work with.
They
It's
do.
like you got that. So my big thing with people, no matter what field, I always say to people who are looking for a job or whatever, God doesn't care what job you have. He cares who you are when you're at the job you have.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so true.
if you can just be a good person and do the right thing for the right reasons and just, show up with, just be present and do the very best you can every single day. I don't care if you're wanting to be a musician and be, or a guy running a gym or whatever. I just think being a good person is really like the starting block of everything. Like
Absolutely.
athletes, you can say, well, they're just an amazing athlete, but why don't they ever get picked up? Because probably, the backstory is they're not likable,
Yeah.
Right.
or
Bingo.
whatever.
That's great
It's
advice.
Yeah.
it's so true.
You're a team.
After-
you become a team.
Yeah.
After doing it 40 years, I do get asked a lot, well, how to get in this business?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? And I'm telling you, personality over talent will win every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a camera operator or a musician, like you
Yeah.
said. People don't want to work with jerks.
No.
Right.
I don't care how good you are.
Right.
So
Yep.
just show up and make friends, network.
Yes.
Yeah.
Internships are the best.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's no pressure. Nobody has to hire you, and commitments. So,
Yeah.
but you get hands-on experience, and that's what I always tell them. Try to find an internship anywhere
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get some good hands-on experience.
Because
Wow.
you never know.
No.
Just that pivotal person that you're going to meet is
Yeah.
going to be the one that changes everything.
And have your my oldest son, middle child, he goes into every job. He seems to always land on his feet, and he is always thinking, learning a system that he's being taught, but always thinking, what's another better way? And when the time is right, and my daughter's this way too, but they're just, like, if I could make a suggestion, and if you do it in the right way where you're not threatening somebody, you can be, you can rise to the top because you're thinking outside of the box just enough, not
Absolutely.
to
Right.
tear that system down, but
Yeah.
how it can be the next little bit, because what you're doing is saying, how can I help you look better?
Absolutely.
How
Yeah.
if I
Trying to
can
make
help
us
you-
better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my business motto: hire people smarter than me.
Yes.
And it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's really easy. But
If
they
we
make
can
you
do
look
it,
good.
anybody can do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Y'all are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, this is fun.
Well, I
Yeah.
am thrilled. Hadn't this been fun?
Yes, so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Thanks, friends.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thanks
Road
for
Dog
having
Show.
us.
Y'all
Y'all, made
Yeah.
it, y'all made it so easy.
Husband and wife team.
Unlike a show like you were talking about where there's a lot of planning goes into it, we try to not start a show with very much small talk because we want the audience to be in on these. Like I had no idea when I thought of the Whitney Houston connection that you were going to be there. It's like so cool, but the audience feels like it's all real raw and fresh, and it is
Sure.
because we didn't do a pre-production meeting.
We didn't.
Right.
No,
It's refreshing to do this after not doing this for
just
so long.
kind of roll.
So, yeah.
But anyway,
Sure.
you have anything else? We're
No,
gonna.
just so thankful they were coming. And
Yeah.
We'll put the information for these guys and their new business. If you want to shoot a show and you want to contact these people, they'll rock it for you. And so we appreciate you being here today. And April and Cindy, we love you, and we will talk to you next time. Get it together, y'all.